Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. And we're starting talking once again about Astro Bot. This time, how it took the Game of the Year award at the DICE Awards 2025. Being reported by WCCF Tech, Team Asobi's Astro Bot has dominated DICE Awards 2025 with 5 award wins. Outstanding Achievement in Animation, Outstanding Technical Achievement, Family Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, as well as the most coveted award, Game of the Year. It's another big victory for the platform game, which had already received the Game of the Year prize at Jeff Keighley's Game Awards ceremony in December and at the New York Game Awards last month. So far, when taking in most outlets and organizations, Astro Bot has put itself far ahead of any other game released in 2024 when it comes to Game of the Year awards. So this is something I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys know about, because we did just get the announcement that there's going to be more free DLC that's released on a weekly basis. Once again, some new levels to play through. And on top of that, Team Asobi did confirm that part of this update is a PS5 Pro upgrade for Astro Bot, which is very welcome. Of course, the game already looks great, but the fact that it's going to look even better if you're playing it on Pro is nice to see. And so, yeah, just more awards being scooped up by Astro Bot. I'm sure both Team Asobi and Sony are very happy about this. But moving on to the next topic, we have an update on Lost Soul Aside. This was a game that was featured at the most recent State of Play, and it did get a release date of May 30th. And so we are looking at insider Bill over on X, who says, good news, Lost Soul Aside in physical disc for PS5 will also be available in the North America region. So it was confirmed not that long ago by him that there was going to be a physical version in Europe, but now we're getting an update that in the US there will be a physical version for $60. In Canada it will be $80. And, you know, he's showing a look of the box art, but it's, you know, nothing too surprising there. But I just thought this was worth mentioning because this is one of those games where I think people were kind of wondering, like, will it get a proper physical release? It is a China Hero project. We know with Black Myth Wukong, it did get a physical release, but it was a little bit later. It also wasn't a China Hero project title, but still, it's understandable why people would be curious about this. Moving on to the next topic here, we have an update on last week's State of Play being reported by VGC. They say last week's State of Play presentation from Sony had more concurrent viewers than any State of Play before it, a new report claims. According to Streams Charts, the February 12th presentation had an average of 1.8 million viewers when all streams and co-streams were taken into account. The report says that at its peak, the viewer count hit 2.18 million concurrent viewers, which it claims is the first time a State of Play has ever broken the 2 million mark. While the main feed on the PlayStation channel saw a peak of 656,000 concurrent viewers, Streams Charts says it's the number of co-streamers also showing the presentation that led to the record-breaking viewership. So, just wanted to take a moment to highlight this because, you know, it's interesting to see the different reactions to Sony's State of Play, but it does seem pretty clear that these State of Plays are beginning to garner more and more viewership, even though sometimes after some of these State of Plays, people walk away feeling like it was disappointing or not what they were expecting or just overall not feeling too good. I think that there are a lot of people who actually did appreciate what they saw as well. And so, you know, it's just something that maybe is worth kind of pointing out here, that every time there's a new State of Play, it does seem like there are more and more people tuning in. We'll have to see if this trend continues or not going forward. But moving on to the next topic, we're talking about Days Gone Remastered, and I have a report here from Push Square, and it says the announcement of Days Gone Remastered may have received a brutal reaction from disgruntled PlayStation enthusiasts, but the release has rocketed up on the PlayStation Store pre-order charts. At the time of this writing, the revamped open world is sitting in the 10th position in the US behind various versions of Monster Hunter Wilds, Elden Ring Night Reign, WWE 2K25, PGA Tour 2K25, MLB The Show 25, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's just above the anticipated Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Obviously, the game is aided by its cheap $10 upgrade for existing players. although it is worth noting that disc owners will not get the opportunity to pre-order and will have to wait until launch day on April 25th to download the remaster at its reduced price point. The game retails for $50 if you're not eligible for the upgrade. And I came across a few interesting posts here on the PS5 subreddit regarding this information that I thought were worth highlighting. One user says, again, proving that gamers aren't a hive mind who all play the same. No one cares that you don't need to pre-order. People will always spend their money on what they like. And somebody else below that says it also shows how insignificant Reddit/internet gaming hive mind is compared to the grand scheme of gamers. Reddit and YouTube comments on this remaster, why does it need an upgrade? It's pointless. No one is going to buy this. The reality, excellent pre-orders. It's the same with Assassin's Creed Shadows, Reddit and YouTube comments. This game is the death of Ubisoft. No one is going to buy it. Reality, excellent pre-orders. The vast majority of gamers don't participate in gaming discussions online. Internet consensus is not indicative of gamers as a whole. For some reason, so much of current discussion forums these days just feed off of negativity and wanting games or devs to fail. The reality is that the majority of gamers aren't so negative about everything and just buy games to have fun. I thought that it just was worth highlighting these comments because they're not just applicable to the situation we're seeing with Days Gone Remastered, but I think to just the gaming industry as a whole and video games as a whole. I see people kind of talking about this all the time, and I just think more often than not, the reality of the situation does not match the internet discourse that you see. Moving on to the next topic, though, we are talking about PlayStation 5 Pro. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. They say we recently reported that Sony has been quietly improving PS5 Pro's PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, behind the scenes. However, it appears that the company wanted to keep those improvements along with PSSR version information a secret. That may soon change, as at least one major developer has revealed the version of PSSR being used in their game. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has been universally praised for a number of reasons, one of which is its excellent utilization of PS5 Pro's PSSR. Interestingly, a Reset Era user noticed that the official game FAQ notes that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is using PSSR version 9.60, information that has never publicly been shared before by a developer until now. In response to this, another developer who works on PS5 Pro enhancements for their games revealed that PSSR version 9.60 isn't the latest version. The dev, who goes by Coral Sky on Reset Era, also suggested that Warhorse Studios may have violated a NDA because Sony doesn't allow studios to share PSSR versions, at least it didn't until now. So, it'll be interesting to see if they'll end up removing this or not. I don't think Sony's going to be that upset per se, right? I mean, they might just have to contact the studio and ask them to correct that if they don't want this information public. But I do wonder if maybe Sony will start allowing developers to announce what version of PSSR they're going to be using in their games. And, for as good as the version that we're seeing here, version 9.60, it's gotten a lot of praise in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. For as good as that is, it is interesting that a dev is saying that's not even the latest version. So it really does seem like Sony is making improvements to PSSR very rapidly here, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. Moving on to the final topic of the video, it's some very frustrating news in my opinion, and I think a lot of people are going to agree with that. We have a new report here coming from PlayStation Lifestyle, where it says popular former PlayStation executive Shuhei Yoshida has claimed that he was forced to step down from his PlayStation Studios role by then CEO Jim Ryan. Yoshida, who recently resigned from Sony Interactive Entertainment after more than 3 decades of service, was president of Worldwide Studios until 2019. The division was rebranded as PlayStation Studios in 2020. When Yoshida announced that he was stepping down as president of Worldwide Studios after 11 years and taking on the role of PlayStation Indies boss, many suspected that he had been demoted. In a new interview with VentureBeat, Yoshida confirmed that this was indeed the case. Moving from first party to indies, well, I had no choice, Yoshida admitted. When Jim asked me to do the indie job, the choice was to do that or leave the company. He was subsequently replaced by Herman Holst. So what's interesting about this is we never really knew for sure whether or not Shuhei Yoshida was officially demoted, right? Whether he was officially asked to take on the indie role as if, this is the only thing left for you to do. It maybe at the time did kind of seem like it was something he wanted to do after running PlayStation first party for so long, maybe wanting to just kind of chill out a little bit and start working with indies. And he did a very good job with that, of course, and he seemed to honestly really like it. But this is sad news because one of the biggest things that people really loved about Shuhei Yoshida being the head of first party is just simply how good of a job he did. You know, he was the head of first party for the PS4 generation. And look at the way people view that generation. It's not to say he didn't make his own mistakes, and you know, we've talked about that in the past, but it's just the fact that Jim Ryan basically came in and was like, yeah, no, I don't want you to run this anymore. We want this guy, Herman Hulst, to do it. And it's no offense to Herman Hulst, but it's like, I mean, look at the difference. You know what I mean? A lot of people kind of look at Herman Hulst and they're like, how is this guy still the head of PlayStation Studios? It's not to say everything he's done has been bad, but there's just no denying that people are going to be frustrated and annoyed, understandably so, as they should be, when you kind of realize that this entire time, if Jim Ryan didn't force Yoshida out of the first, the head of the first party role, he would still be running PlayStation Studios. And I mean, let's just face it, man, if you're stacking up Shuhei Yoshida to Herman Hulst, I can tell you right now who everybody's going to choose to run PlayStation Studios. Spoiler, it's not Herman Hulst, right? So hearing Shuhei Yoshida come out and talk about this, and especially when you look at how it seems that Jim Ryan really messed some things up. He did some things well and good, but generally speaking, it really seemed like he messed up a lot of things internally at PlayStation. And we were always kind of wondering, like, was he asked to step down? Did he actually retire? Seeing something like this, I think, just kind of reaffirms that, yeah, I don't really think Jim knew exactly what he was doing, because the idea that you're going to replace Shuhei Yoshida with Herman Hulst because you think that's the better thing to do and not because Shuhei Yoshida wanted to step down from first-party studios is kind of wild. But maybe it does explain a lot. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.